Always ready.
Yep.
I'd like to call the Monday, May 8th board meeting to order. Roll call.
Ms. Nazario?
Here.
Ms. Washington? Here. Mr. Ballard?
Here.
Mr. Sturgill?
Here.
And Mr. Ferguson?
Here.
Mr. Scott, I'd like to invite you into the conversation, introduce our special guests.
I get the pleasure of introducing Ms. Brookbank from Helen Steiner Rice. She's going to introduce three wonderful students that had the pleasure meeting before the board meeting to lead us in the pledge and to give us a little something special. So at this time, Mrs. Brookbank.
Okay, are you guys ready to come up?
Is it? No, we'll
They're a
come
little bit
anyway.
shy and nervous. And we're missing 3 of them, so we had 6, but that's okay. So this is Anthony, Cecilia, and Andrea. So they're 4th and 5th grade students from Helen Steiner Rice. They are going to lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and now they are going to share their favorite memory from this past school year. Okay, you got it.
My best memory is that whenever I say like hi or to some student, they always say it back. They always say it back in like in kindness.
That's great.
That's awesome.
Cool.
My best memory is there's so much good, nice kids at Alexander, right? My favorite memory is when I wasn't having a good day because I was very sad and everyone cheered me up.
Nobody said state testing.
Nice.
Nobody said state testing.
You guys are awesome. Thank you. Can we get a
Thank
picture?
you.
Can we get
Yeah.
a picture?
Get in front of us and make us look good. Where's the team?
Check our, make sure they're all up the right way.
Step forward.
Cool, cool.
A little bit, we'll get behind you.
Is Michael with her?
Yes, he is.
All right, all right.
He's just not your friend.
It's okay to smile. Always an outlier.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You guys are awesome. Thanks. As long as we not, we understand because it's a willing board tomorrow. Okay, that's okay. Just one sec. Okay.
I love it.
Did you get the right answer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Scott.
Okay, when it comes to special guests, this is somebody that's been recommended that we recognize at a board meeting now for many months by many people. So Linda Conway is somebody very, very special to the district and has a flock of kids who just adore her. So we want to give an opportunity for us to clap for her and Fig to kind of share some praise.
Absolutely. Linda's absolutely amazing, not only with the kids, but with the adults, family members. They love her. Her stop, she decorates, she gets some cash. She just does a wonderful job communicating and showing kindness, and it's just tight in spirit, and she cares. She takes out of her time. She does anything that's needed. She's always in the community. She even helped out with COVID, giving food out, going all over the place, volunteered out of her own time. We really want to honor her. I appreciate her. Anytime I need something, she's a go-to person. She's always willing, and we just really love her and appreciate her. So I made her, Carmen made her basket. She definitely added a lot more color and flavor to what I was putting together for her, but I want to give her this.
Speech?
I'm a prop star at Franklin Central. Definitely had a lot more kids coming in the last 2 weeks. I think the school said that they were about 19 kids. I at least had 6 of them, like out of the 19, and we're still not done. So I think by Friday or next Friday, it's gonna be my last little toy little game win for the kids because they definitely frustrated. I even got kids wanting something every single day, either consume a snack or grab a juice or something. But they do. They're the best.
Ah, you're the best. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Any other visitors? No. I need a motion to suspend the order.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Who was that made the first?
Bill.
Sorry.
I'll be louder next time.
Sorry. Ms. Nazario?
Yes.
Ms. Washington, yes. Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes.
And I now need a motion to go into executive session.
So move.
Second.
Roll call?
Ms. Nazario?
Yes.
Ms. Washington, yes. Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill?
Yes.
And Mr. Ferguson?
Yes.
And this will be for the reasons of A, 2, B, and D. Employment, property, and negotiations. I need a motion to come out of executive session.
So move.
Support.
Roll call?
Ms. Nazario?
Yes.
Ms. Washington, yes. Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes.
At the time?
Yes.
First hearing of the public.
Mr. Ferguson?
Seeing none. Approve the minutes from April 26th meeting.
So moved.
Support.
Roll call?
Ms. Nazario?
Yes.
Ms. Washington, yes. Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill?
Yes.
And Mr. Ferguson?
Yes.
Do we have any old business to share?
And
Seeing none. Reports and recommendation of the treasurer.
I have items 10.01 to 10.02 for approval, please.
So moved. Support.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Nazario?
Yes.
Ms. Washington, yes. Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes.
Reports and recommendation of the superintendent.
Thank you, Madam President. Actually, I'd like to invite Mary Mays to the podium, give an update on some of the construction projects that we are in the process of constructing. Yeah, so give an update on the baseball field, softball fields, and George Daniel Stadium, please. I don't know.
Yes, tap it again?
Yep.
Yeah, this is the fun part. So I just want to give you a couple updates on, as Dr. Graham said, Campana Park and George Daniel Stadium. So Campana Park, you know that we've been working collaboratively with the city. The district portion of that collaboration over at Campana Park is, of course, the pipe yard, the varsity field, and then creating a new softball field with some concession area and then some restroom facilities, and then all of the other fun stuff that goes with that to make that happen. We've gone through several weeks of design process and worked everything through with overall, looking at the overall updates in the park, some new dugout areas, some batting areas, looking at infield turf, and then, like I said, the overall park itself, working with the city. The architect, Brian Corey, has been instrumental in giving us information on what he thinks would be great there. And so then ultimately we went through a bid process. The district put out a bid for our portion, which I said was the pipe yard portion of that. And we had one contractor that came back that was well over the 10% threshold. And so, of course, the recommendation was for the board to reject that bid, which we did. So we went back and had some more conversations with the city and the architects and looking at overall
It's on now.
at the overall design and some other ideas of what we could do to get some contractors that were actually interested in bidding on the work that we had there. In the meantime, the city was also working with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources and looking at some grant money to help in funding this project as well. So ultimately, we did put the project out as one project, the entire park, to get some other contractors in. We went through the bid process and had two contractors come back in, and we of course took the lowest and best bid. The contractor that came in was North Coast Design, meeting all of the requirements and the specifications that we had. Once we got that back, we went through and reviewed everything. We had a meeting with the contractor. We went through their numbers to align them with what we had as the overall project. And then we do what's kind of like a budget review. We look at what we need to fit within and stay within the projected numbers that we had. We made some additions, we made some subtractions, and ultimately came up with a plan to move everything forward so that everybody's happy. We have a great field and a great place for our kids to go. So where we are right now, and I don't expect you to see this on the left side, but there's like 4 pages of the timeline. And if you want to see that, I'll be more than happy to share that with you. But the timeline right now is this week we are actually going through mobilization. getting things ready to go for the overall project. And I want to thank the board for approving Multivista, which is a digital documentation at the last board meeting. Sorry. Thank you. Which is digital documentation, which will be great for updates as I come through and show you. You actually be able to see like what's happening. You will see exactly what's happening.
Can
Not
board have access?
pictures like
Can
this.
board members have access to that?
I think they can.
Okay,
I'm
thanks.
working now with the company, and so we can do that, but it'll show things through the timeline, and it just, like I said, it's real time. So it's just a great program and great product to have in place. That will go all the way from the beginning of the project. I'm meeting them there tomorrow before we start, and it'll go all the way through to the end of the project. The tentative demobilization end of project is actually the week of the 27th of November. So we're hoping that we have kids playing on those fields next year. The other update that I want to bring to you is the George Daniel Field project. If you have been at George Daniel Stadium and used any of the facilities there, I'm sure you're very much aware of what they look like. If you're not, I will go through these. The top picture on the left, of course, is the outside of one of the restrooms there, and we had some makeshift area that we put up so that we couldn't see into the restroom. The picture just below that is actually inside that restroom. It did not have doors on the stalls at one point in time, and so we have makeshift doors that don't close there. The top right picture is a picture of the outside of that area. Doors are not ADA compliant. The restrooms are not ADA compliant. And then the lower picture on the right is the restroom of one of the locker rooms there. And most of those places have very little or no ventilation. And so overall, it's just kind of a scary little place. We need to fix it up.
Good phrase for it, yeah.
The accessibility, as I said, ADA compliant, we're not. So the stands, we will be looking at making those ADA accessible. The center picture is, of course, the outside view of our concession stand. And the picture to your right is what the inside of that concession stand looks like. Of course, I understand that we're just putting boxed pizzas in, and it's not a concession stand. It's a building. And a poor condition at that.
It's a scary little place. Is that
It's
right?
a lean-to.
Yes, it is. And then the field house, the facility there, again, another place that really needs some real help. The picture on the left is a picture of the physical therapy room floors. As you can see, if you could get inside that room, you would see there's nothing great about that room. It's very small. Everything needs updated in there. The second picture is actually where I was standing in a hallway. You can't really tell, but the doors are very narrow. Again, not ADA compliant. The third picture, I'm standing in that little hallway looking into the locker room area. That's probably the best place other than the weight room of that whole facility. But then if you look at the last picture to the left of that third picture is those are our restrooms and shower rooms. Again, not ADA compliant. So what we've looked at is some updates, and where we are right now is looking at updating the locker rooms, putting in new lockers and fixtures, making those ADA improvements to the restrooms and those locker rooms, expanding the spectator restrooms, those are the ones on the west stand, expanding those out, making them ADA compliant, making the lower level seating ADA accessible, make any structural repairs that we need to make. We're going to do some alterations to the west concession stands. Those are the ones underneath the stands. To overhead doors, making those so they don't open. Exterior walls, some repair to those, and then a concrete slab will need to be fixed inside as well. That building will be utilized for storage. Are looking at putting in a new concession building with health department sinks, actually pass with the health department and sanitary sewer, which we don't have right now. Updates to a ticket booth, repair to the doors, some telephone data lines, lighting, and the aesthetic improvements to that. Replace the rusted doors and frames, as I showed you in some of those pictures. And then the team building on the east side, we will do a partial demo that will be leaving the weight room portion, which is the newer portion of the building, and then demoing out the older portion, and building an addition almost to the end of the bleachers on that side, the stands on that side. That new addition will house the varsity and JV team. It'll have new restrooms, shower, public restrooms. There will be a film room, offices, a physical therapy room, and storage. In addition to that, we're looking at a new addition for the freshman football locker, a locker room, team room, showers, and storage as well. It's about 4,450 square feet. And then we're looking at a new entry vestibule, if you will, for the visitors ticketing and storage coming off of the east side of the stands instead of having them at the west side, so that there would be an entryway on the east side for visitors. And then we would demo that freestanding building that's adjacent to the field house currently. It's a small little building that's there. So timeline on this, because we're just trying to get through the design process, we've gone back because we had a couple different options. We've looked at it a number of different ways. We're trying to just solidify the designs right now and going through with the architects at this point in time. We're looking at getting all of the bid docs together and putting that out through the bid process. And so that portion of it, we're probably looking at somewhere around the end of July, maybe first part of August. We'll do the same thing we did with Campana Park in reviewing those bids. We will bring it to the board at that point in time if there's a contractor that comes in and meets the criteria and the bid specs that we put out for the board's approval. And then we'll go through the cost and budget review and then up to the point of mobilization so that we can move the project forward. So I get caught up in the weeds sometimes, and I do all the specifics, but sometimes I like to come back because I get to the end of the project or close to the end of the project, and then I get the wow factor. And so I sometimes ask that we, at Campana Park, envision a park that our kids want to go and play ball, that our parents and guardians and community will go to and watch games and enjoy the surroundings. Visualize quality fields to play on, infield turf, nice dugouts, batting areas, playgrounds kids can go to. And then, of course, engage in the wonder of having a new home for our LCSD kids. It's a long time coming. And then George Daniel Stadium, again, visualize a new facility that's anew, one that invites us to engage in the activities and of cheering on our teams while being able to have and enjoy access to our surroundings. So that's what I have for the updates right now. If there's any questions, I'll be more than happy to try and answer those.
Questions from the board?
Thank you.
I'd like to thank Mary for her leadership, but I'd also like to thank the board for their support and setting the bar pretty high for what they expect out of our facilities. Just to, I guess, rephrase, or actually to echo what Mary was saying a couple different times, our facilities, George Daniel, is not ADA compliant anywhere, and it's a scary little place. Again, to echo Mary, and again, you go into our facilities at George Daniel, it's embarrassing. Our kids and our community deserve so much better. And the questions I'm sure are being asked, where's this money coming from? Almost the exact dollar that is estimating that the George Daniel Field is going to cost is aligned with LFI funds. And LFI funds are locally funded initiatives. And it's when the city passed the bond issue to pay for our new schools, we got a big lump sum of money from the state, and that money was allowed to gain interest. And this is that money left over. So it's going to pay for the upgrades to George Daniel. So again, I just want to thank everybody for, and I think Mary also said, it's been a long day coming, and I'm pretty excited about what's coming next. So thank you for that. Thank you. And I would like the board to consider for approval items 11.01 to 11.04, other matters.
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion?
You better.
Again, yep, it's a 12. Yes,
Just
We're in
12.
11 now.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. We're doing just 12 point. Just.
No, this is 11.01 to 11.04, other matters.
We're in
11.01.
There's just more than 11.
We don't have a 04.
Okay, and then Mark, you made
we
the
had a statement.
motion.
I apologize.
And I support it.
No,
Yes.
hang on one second.
Oh, I had two agendas. This one doesn't have it either.
Okay.
I do have 11. Gotcha. Oh, I apologize. Okay. I'd like to rescind all that. I'd like the board to consider for approval 12.01 personnel matters.
Support.
Any discussion on that? Roll call.
I got both supporting.
I moved, he supported.
No discussion?
That was me.
Okay. Ms. Nazario?
Yes.
Ms. Washington, yes. Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill?
I abstain, I have a relative on that list.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes.
And I apologize, I have two agendas here, but I believe this is the one everybody else has, correct?
12.0.
One with 12 point? Okay.
You got 11?
No, but I've got this one that has
Okay.
11.01.
That's from
That was the
meeting?
presentation.
That's an old one. No, but I've got,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the old one.
Probably from our,
okay. Gotcha, okay. My apologies. I'd like the board to consider for approval 12.02 to 12.04.
So moved.
support.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Nazario?
Yes.
Ms. Washington, yes. Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes, and I think I'd like to congratulate Brian Corey on what I believe is a great hire for girls' basketball.
Very excited.
Yes.
I'd like the board to consider for approval items 13.01 to 13.09, operation matters.
So moved. Support.
Any discussion on this? Roll call.
Ms. Nazario?
Yes.
Ms. Washington, yes. Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes.
I'd like the board to consider for approval item 14.01 as a walk-on item, resolution of administrator and teacher contract.
So move.
Contracts.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Nazario?
Yes.
Ms. Washington, yes. Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, please. Yes.
Okay. We need to walk an item on, so I need a motion to walk an item on to approve it.
So move.
Support.
Now roll call.
Ms. Nazario?
Yes.
Ms. Washington, yes. Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes.
And I would like the board to consider for approval, it'd be item 14.02, correct?
14.03. So you have it.
I'm sorry, 14.03, which is a contract with Auxilio Transportation.
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion on this? Roll call.
Ms. Nazario?
Yes.
Ms. Washington, yes. Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes.
And that's all I have this evening.
I do have one question, and I missed it on 1304. Is there a reason that we purchased this minibus we went out of county to purchase it? Is there a reason that we would go out of county, or is it price, is it?
Mary, the question is the purchase of the new bus, 13.
The wagon, or passenger wagon from,
Sarchi owned
It's
Ford.
from like Alliance or something, right?
Yep.
We purchased it from Alliance, and I mean, I'm just asking why we would go, we have 4 dealers in Lorain, and usually our tax base is like 6 point something, and didn't we just purchase one for 51,000
We
a
did,
month?
this is, and it's the same company that we purchased it from. This, like I said, same make, same model, everything else, just I think it's a year actually older. But I would love to deal with anybody around this area. Unfortunately, they cannot find 9-passenger vans, is what the law dictates that we have. They have 15-passenger vans, but we can't utilize those.
Right.
And so we're looking at laws to change, because they're finding out that they're not creating 9-passenger vans anymore. And so, as soon as that law changes, I'll be more than happy to utilize anybody.
Okay, I'm just,
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, we always try to use local vendors.
yeah, I always say, like I said, it's always never what you think it is.
Yep.
But just thanks for the explanation. I should have got it beforehand, but I didn't.
That's not.
all right. Second hearing of the public? Seeing none? Oh, I'm sorry, I missed, do we have any committee reports? Anything?
Anyone? I would just like to say, I was in the building for about 2 weeks to sell prom tickets and prom to dawn, and I just loved seeing our kids. They were just great. You know, sometimes we hear negative stories. For the most part, it was great seeing the staff, the students interacting. Just amazing. And then I'm a part of the Prom to Dawn committee. We sold 64 tickets. We had an inflatable obstacle course. We had video games set up, regular Uno cards. It's just great, a great turnout. We had awesome volunteers. Just amazing. I just loved it to see the kids having fun. We even had Officer Figueroa get in on the volleyball game, and just a great time with our kids. Oh, and don't forget, May 18th is our spring Bloom Where You Are Planted here at 5:30 at Lorain High. Please come and have some fun with us.
Is it too late to make a statement?
No, we can do the second hearing in the public now because we skipped over it. You can come up to the microphone.
Just missed the first hearing.
Hello, how are you guys doing? My name is Ebony Steele, and I have 3 children that go to the Lorain City Schools here. I am not from here. I am from New Jersey, and I moved here after I left service back in 2012. I come here today, and I'm seeing that I most likely need to come to more meetings that you guys have now that my kids are in the school system, and things that you guys vote on, or and I'm in dismay to see that there aren't anyone else here but me, which lets me know that I have a lot of work that I need to do with my own community. Even though I was not raised here, I see the needs that needs to be done between the school system, parents, and the community itself. We have a lot of children that are coming up missing, not enough parents speaking up for their children, a lot of children who are dealing with traumatic experiences because a lot of the pedophiles are living in their neighborhoods. They can't walk down the street. And these are things that I'm noticing. In the school system, there are a lot of bias situations, how teachers and how the principals interact with parents. Most recently, actually a month ago, I wouldn't be standing here today if it wasn't for God, because I had one of the Title II teachers here for this district make up a lie and say I ran over her foot. And immediately right after that, it was brought behind with the secretary stating that I was an irate parent. And once I didn't feel comfortable, I called the police myself, and it was found out that none of this was true, that I did any of this. And we all know after Columbine High School in 1999 and all the other cases, saying those things could have easily gotten me put down. So I'm here to say that I understand that there's going to be a lot of equity training for this district, but I'm hearing a lot of complaints from my neighbors, from my brothers, from my sisters, and how they are being treated, how they're Hebrew Israelite, because we are not African American, how we are being treated in this community. And I understand that you guys are taking necessary steps to actually take ownership and acknowledgement that it does exist. So I just want to say thank you for that, but also can we find a better way to move things along a little bit quicker? because we have children who deal with racism within their schools every day. Thank you so very much, and I hope y'all have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Our next board meeting will be May 22nd at 5 o'clock here in our boardroom. And I need a motion to adjourn.
Support?
Roll call?
Ms. Nazario?
Yes.
Ms. Washington, yes. Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes.